I recently issued a promise to my so-called pimps and players and hustlers, gangsters and thugs. And I'm here today to make good on that promise. I told you that I wanted to talk to you, and today on hashtag relationships, I plan to do just that. Now, I have to do a little housekeeping first, make sure that we're on the same page. I'm not here to talk about breaking the law or anything like that, or breaking the rules. That's not the point. We're going to talk about three components of those characters of pimps and players and hustlers, gangsters and thugs. We're going to talk about image. We're going to talk about stereotype and mindset. Image is what you project to others. Stereotype is what others interpret or misinterpret. And then the mindset is basically how you behave within those character guidelines. And the reason why I'm not going to talk about one side of the law or the other is because we know that laws change, they get amended, rules sometimes don't make sense. I mean, for crying out loud, Rosa Parks, she either broke the law, she broke some rules, or she broke some policies and procedures, or all of the above. If you wanted to assemble a team prayer before a sporting event that's sanctioned by the school district, then you might be breaking the law, you might be breaking some policies and or procedures, or you might simply be breaking some rules that actually don't make a lot of sense. So we don't get into laws and rules and policies. That's of it's not germane to the subject at hand. And also, let me offer you this disclaimer. Excuse me. When I say thug, I'm actually not making a reference to the old school hustlers. No. Those old school hustlers would have been offended if you referred to them as a thug. Back in the day, 40 years ago at least, the term thug meant something different. It's changed over the years. It meant minion, and minion means flunky. No man ever wants to be called a flunky. It meant hanger on, or it meant bootlicker, stooge, suck up. No real man ever wants to be referenced on that list of words. But we've made thug something a little more, I guess, sexy over the past 30 years, the way we've marketed and promoted ourselves as thugs, and we'll get to that in a whole nother topic. So right now, I want to make sure that you understand that when I say thug, I'm not making a reference to my old school hustlers. No, they actually looked after me. Yeah, they protected me from the streets. See, back then, the number one objective for men was to become his own boss, not a flunky. And a man was willing to pay the cost to be the boss. So those big homies, if you will, back in the day, they called me Little Pops. They would say, Little Pops, you have a chance at a good life, son. You hit those school books hard. You have a chance to go to college. They explained to me that you don't choose this life chooses you. And you have potential. You have more potential to create a career for yourself. Something within the parameters of the law. You have the potential to help a lot of people, they told me, to raise a family. And not to go down the wrong path is how they explained it to me. In other words, the old school gangsters did not promote becoming a thug because they were businessmen and they were handling business. And if you promote that you are about that thug life, then that's actually not good for business. The real gangsters, the real hustlers, the real pimps and players, they wrote the blueprint on that life, of which many of you Facebook thugs know nothing about that life. But you like the way it looks. You like the style. You like the image. You like the way it looks on you. You think it makes you more appealing to women. And your problem comes in, it surfaces when sister sees beyond your image. She realizes that it's all a show. So what does any of this have to do with relationships, you're probably asking? Well, sometimes, it's in that woman's nature. She's always been attracted to the roughneck, the guy who lives his life real close to the edge, or maybe just one step beyond the edge. But she may mistake you from one of those old school hustlers those brothers back in the day, they were protectors. They were protective. They valued family. They were businessmen who took care of business. And brother, if your hustle does not pay the bills, if your hustle does not put food on the table, if your hustle takes away from your responsibilities as a father, then brother, respectfully, you don't have a hustle and you need to get a job. And so when I talk about those old school gangsters or the old school hustlers, it's not that I'm celebrating being a hustler or a thug or a pimp or a player. So don't go there with me either, because I could easily remind you of the movie Scarface. Al Pacino starred in Scarface. Did you like that movie? What about The Godfather? Yes, directed by Francis Ford Coppola. Did you like that movie? Did you like the way that Bonnie and Clyde ended? You ever visited the Flamingo Hotel and Casino? Have you ever heard of Benjamin Bugsy Siegel? So don't try to make this thing into as if I'm trying to celebrate being a gangster or being a thug. No, I'm celebrating being a man first. We put man before the hood back in the day. Now we flipped that, and now we putting the hood before the man. In other words, you are promoting rep your hood, and I'm asking you to represent being a man. Put the man before the hood. Now you have manhood. But for those of you Facebook, social media gangsters and thugs, you grew up with a mama and a daddy. You were surrounded by love, and you had all kinds of opportunities to do better, to make better decisions. But if you squandered all of that support, that does not qualify you as a thug. No, it qualifies you as spoiled and selfish and immature and irresponsible and a not very smart knucklehead. That's what it qualifies you as. And what I'm asking you to do is to grow up, stop playing the part of a thug, because if your hustle does not handle your business, then you're not a hustler at all. See, hustling requires a lot of work. It's hard work. And hustling requires a well thought out and a well executed plan. Hustling, you have to consistently be able to make profitable decisions. I could put you guys, you Facebook thugs, in front of some real gangsters, those brothers who wrote the blueprint on that life, and you wouldn't last a day. Now, sisters, what about your image? What are you projecting? How close are you to yesterday's selfie? I mean, when you take off your hair, when you take off your lashes, your Spanx, and your nails, how far away or how close to that image are you when you're in your natural state? See, you guys are developing and creating these characters. You know, all the world's a stage, and all the men and women are merely players, and they have their exits and their entrances, and one man in his time plays many parts. That was William Shakespeare. And so are you falling in love? Are you attracted to his character, sister? And brother, are you attracted to her character, her image? And how close to your real image is it apropos to your values? And so when the real you shows up, this is when the problem comes in. The show's over because you're not being honest about who you really are. The more time you spend together, the more you increase the opportunity of realizing that you are fundamentally unequally yoked. My suggestion is simple. This reality TV show where you are the star, let's go ahead and turn that off. And let's get back to the real you, because that's who he needs to meet, sister. And brother, that's who you need to project, who you really are. I know underneath all of your fashion and garb and whatnot, that you're a good brother. I know that. So go ahead and project that. It's okay. It's all right. Yeah, that whole thug life, gangster, it's become fashionable. It's become mainstream. I get that. But if it's not who you are in your heart, brother, then where is the upside? All right. This is not about how you dress. This is about the image you project. How close is it to your values and your the real you at your core? Because you guys, you know I'm only here to help. I want for you what I want for myself. Those old school hustlers, they wanted a better life for me. That's what they wanted for themselves. Let's be men first. Let's put all that rep in the hood. That look, I'm 50 years old. I couldn't rep a hood if my life depended on it. Growing up in Oak Cliff, I don't have to prove that I'm tough. I had to prove that I'm a gentleman. Prove that I could be trusted. Prove that I'm kind. That I can run a business. All right, I don't have to prove that I'm hard. I want you guys to be happy. I want you to be healthy. I want you to live a life of longevity and one of fulfillment. But above all these things combined, I wish upon you guys many, many blessings. I'm always looking forward to your responses. My name is Jay Jackson.